We're going to take a look at the iMito MX1 Micro PC. As you can see, it's pretty small, a little bit bigger than a thumb drive. On the side you have a micro SD card slot and a micro USB. On this side you have a full-size USB and another micro USB for power, though it can be powered through either micro USB. On the other side you have a HDMI with an HDMI extender. That's typically they don't fit into most TVs without the extender, so it's good that it came with one. Okay, you can use a typical mouse and keyboard if you wish. As you see, we have the Google Play Store. Almost all the apps that you would find on a tablet or phone are available here, and most of them tend to work on this device. I've had a few issues. World of Goo had some graphical distortion, but overall, most of them work. We're going to start by showing you what everyone's going to play on a tablet. They're going to play Angry Birds, and it works pretty well with the mouse and keyboard, actually. Free version with a lot of ads and nuisances. Just to give you an idea of how well it runs some basic things. All the important stuff. And I really am not very good at Angry Birds, so forgive me because I don't play it very much. Moving along, we're going to get to some web browsing. You've got the major browsers: Opera Mobile, Firefox, and Chrome. Chrome does come pre-installed. You have to these programs I installed from the market. They're free. Opera Mobile, in my opinion, has been the best experience. Some of the slowness you're going to see in the loading here, some of it has to do with the Wi-Fi on the device, and some of it has to do with the fact that I've got it attached to a very crappy router downstairs. But I find Opera Mobile to be the smoothest, and it works with the mouse scroll wheel properly, which is a big deal. And pretty good web surfing experience on your TV. Taking a little long to load some of the pictures, but as you can see, it looks pretty smooth. And we also have Firefox. The only issue I have with Firefox, it actually loads pretty well and runs pretty well, but it does not support the scroll wheel natively, so you have to treat it like you would on a tablet and use your mouse as you would a finger to slide it up and down. My typos kick in, and okay. But even with that said, it's still a pretty smooth browser. I'm not even showing you Chrome. I am not pleased with the performance of Chrome on this device. I don't think it's the hardware. It's a very powerful CPU and GPU in this device, but Chrome does not seem optimized. So we'll move on to some video. Here's Netflix. And please ignore the fact that I'm able to record Netflix. I'm sure if anyone found out about that, they would not be pleased. Skip ahead so that we don't waste too much time. The quality is pretty good. I think again my internet connection to this downstairs is not as good as it is up here, but it looks pretty solid. Moving on. Now, one thing we do have here is I got the early betas or alphas. I'm not even sure. Oh, and sorry, we're going to YouTube now. I'm getting ahead of myself and rambling. YouTube, just to show you that it runs pretty well. Pick some annoying video that's popular that I've never watched before. Sorry I said you're annoying if you happen to see this. I don't know who you are, but alrighty.
Hey everybody, I am so excited today. Our first guest and me have a lot in common.
Now, what I was getting at is the alpha. I'm not sure if it's alpha or beta, but Xbox Media Center is out, and it runs fairly well for the most part. I haven't had a lot of luck getting 1080p MKVs to play on it. They come up a bit choppy, but it is a very early test build of Xbox Media Center. But all of their movies, my MP4s, my M4Vs, which I guess are our MP4s, AVIs, they all seem to play pretty well. It's a little bit slow in loading and buffering, but overall, it's very promising. And just the idea of a device like this running Xbox Media Center is pretty intriguing. The device cost $80 on Amazon.com. It is shipped from a Chinese company, and I believe it comes out of Hong Kong, Shenzhen, something along those lines. But I will say, when I ordered it, it arrived within 2 days, which was pretty impressive. And the quality of my rips aren't the best, but just an example of Xbox Media Center in action. Now, the other intriguing thing about this that made me very happy is, well, I'm using the 6-axis pair tool, and the reason is I do have a wired Xbox 360 controller, which I've typically used with my tablets. And I've not had any luck getting it to work on this for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'll keep plugging away and looking at that. So I did root this device, and I will say rooting was very easy. You just have to hook it to a PC, get drivers installed, and run a simple bat file that some people have provided, and it was really quick and really easy. So I did it. The only thing I've needed root for was for the 6-axis pair tool, so I can get my PlayStation 3 controller working. But with this, I've been very lucky to find it's been working with all kinds of games. It's a little slow this time connecting, but it will connect, I assure you. I have seen a couple bugs where the 6-axis pair tool will shut off my Wi-Fi, and hopefully that's something I can resolve in the future, but we'll show you all the important games. Grand Theft Auto 3 seems to see the controller right out of the box, just sees it, works with it, starts to play. And other games you do have to set up and configure the controls. Shadow Gun and Dead Trigger, I had to set up the controls manually. Not for the analog sticks, but for all your firing and basic weapon changes and such. Now, I was actually able to play Grand Theft Auto 3 with a mouse and keyboard as well. It allowed me to use WASD to move, and then all your actions such as gas pedals and firing guns were done with the mouse just clicking on the icons on the right. But it's definitely much better with a 6-axis controller. Now I'll move along to something else. And I'm just showing this to see, the graphical fidelity. These games are pretty demanding in my opinion. So the fact that it can run them very well says a lot about the hardware. So I do believe firmly that Chrome's performance issues are not hardware related, just maybe that it's a new chip and the software has not been optimized for it yet. I accidentally hit my right mouse button. I do that often. The right mouse button, when you hook a mouse up to these, it kind of defaults as the back button. I'll show you a little bit of Dead Trigger just to see how it runs. I kind of consider it one of the more graphically impressive games on the platform. You see it runs pretty smooth. I'm not very good with a 6-axis controller. I mainly play with mouse and keyboard, but if I'm not doing that, it's usually the Xbox 360 controller, so let me get used to the sensitivity of this thing. You can see it runs pretty good, looks pretty good, and I don't think you can do better for the price, to be honest with you. I've tried quite a few of these mini PCs out. We've tried the MK802, the UG802. I was not very impressed with the MK802. I was more impressed with the UG802, which died on me in the first week, and I got my money back, and we gave this one a shot, and I am just far more impressed with this device than any of the previous devices mentioned. This is, for the money, it costs twice as much as the MK802. I believe we paid $40 for the MK802. We paid $80 for this one. But what you can pull off on this one is just so much more impressive. We'll show you a little remote desktop. We'll just do some splash top because that's probably my favorite remote desktop tool. I have used the other RDC as well, which is pretty smooth. This one scales down better. And there it is, my desktop upstairs. This is across the internet, so it's not as smooth as it would be because the way my network's set up, I have to go through the internet to get between upstairs and downstairs, which is, I've been too lazy to run some cables. This is an Office product. I do Kingsoft. The other bug I did notice, and I should try it here. I should try Drive here, but I didn't. On Drive, Google Drive, on the word processing, the text can be very small. Everything else in it works really well. The Kingsoft, I find, works pretty flawlessly in my opinion. And that's really all I've got to show you. I think that this device is madly impressive. It's the full Android experience. Really, it could act as a PC replacement for $80. It is powered, I don't know if I mentioned, it is powered by USB. So if you have a TV, you can plug in the HDMI port and just power it by the TV, and that's